Imagine this scene. Maria Elena, she's watching her mother, maybe struggling to remember the words to Cielito Lindo, a song they've known forever, sung since she was a child. It's poignant, right? But it's more than just a personal moment. It's really a window into this quiet crisis that's unfolding in Latino communities across the U.S. So today, that's what we're diving deep into, this challenge. The impact of cognitive decline, specifically Alzheimer's and related dementias within this community. And the numbers, well, they're stark, honestly, quite alarming. Latinos are 1.5 times more likely to develop these conditions compared to non-Hispanic whites. And get this, cases among Hispanic Americans, projected to jump by a staggering 900% over the next 30 years. 900%. That's not just a number, it's a huge health equity crisis. It needs our attention urgently. We just can't ignore it.
No, you really can't. What we're seeing here, it's definitely a multi-generational crisis and multifactorial, too. It's deeply rooted in complex patterns of chronic disease that hit these communities harder. Plus, you've got these persistent structural barriers in healthcare access, quality of care, that kind of thing. And critically, diagnoses often come too late. So yeah, it's not a simple problem with one neat answer, but really understanding all these layers, that's absolutely the first step to finding real solutions.
Absolutely. And that's our mission today, really. We want to explore the complex reasons behind this disparity, kind of peel back the layers, and then, and this is key, uncover an innovative, culturally informed solution that's actually making waves, especially timely as we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. Okay, so let's get into it. Why are Latino communities facing what seems like a perfect storm of risk? It's clearly not just one thing, is it?
No, definitely not. It's a really multifaceted challenge. The higher dementia risk in Hispanic communities, it comes from this complex interplay of factors, things that build up over lifetimes, even across generations. So for instance, if you look at specific subgroups, like Mexican Americans are one of the fastest aging Latino populations, we actually see some interesting population-specific differences in their mitochondrial function, the energy factories in our cells.
Mitochondrial function.
No.
Okay, so that's not just some tiny biological detail then.
Not at all. It means that focusing on mitochondrial health, maybe through specific nutrition or compounds, could be a really personalized, potent preventative strategy for this group. Much better than just generic advice. And these differences, they're also influenced by things like education levels, BMI, certain genetic factors too.
Right, so we're not talking about a single risk profile. There's a lot of nuance within the community itself. Are there specific aspects of that diversity, maybe differences between various Latino national origins that mean we need different approaches for prevention or care?
That's a really crucial point. While there are broad patterns, yeah, the cultural and genetic variations within the, incredibly diverse Latino population mean one size fits all just won't cut it. We definitely need culturally sensitive, maybe even population-specific interventions. And beyond that, a huge contributor is the role of cardiovascular and metabolic health issues.
Yeah.
I mean, Latinos experience diabetes at 2.3 times the rate of non-Hispanic whites. That's critical because diabetes can pretty much double the likelihood of dementia.
Double.
Yeah. And then hypertension affects 40% of Latino adults. And often, alarmingly, it goes untreated because of those access barriers we talked about. And these aren't just heart problems, These conditions actually change brain structure and function over time. They directly contribute to cognitive decline.
That link between heart health and brain health is just so vital. And I think, often overlooked until it's maybe too late. It really argues for more integrated care, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. But the crisis, it goes beyond just the physical health numbers.
Yeah.
Think about the caregiving burden. Latino families often carry this huge responsibility, frequently with very limited outside help or resources. This leads to much higher levels of emotional distress, depression compared to other groups. And while women have traditionally been the main caregivers, we are seeing more Latino men stepping into these essential roles. And the financial cost, it's crushing. Families spend, on average, something like $18,000 a year on dementia care. That often just wipes out generational wealth that took decades to build. So this raises a really important question. We need to care not just for the patient, but also for the caregiver. Their well-being is tied to the whole family's health, their resilience.
That's such a powerful point. It really shows how the ripple effects touch every single part of a family's life. The emotional strain, the financial strain.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. But okay, amidst this really challenging picture, there is some hope, right?
Yeah.
We often hear this idea that your genes are not your destiny. So how can we use that understanding? How do we start breaking this cycle?
Well, this is exactly where recent breakthroughs in epigenetics offer really revolutionary hope. It's quite exciting, actually.
Yeah.
Even people carrying high-risk genes like APOE4, that's a specific gene variant, strongly linked to Alzheimer's risk. They aren't necessarily, condemned to get it. Think of your DNA less like a fixed blueprint and more like sheet music.
Sheet music. Okay, I like that analogy.
Yeah. And epigenetics determines which notes get played, how loud, in what order. Your lifestyle, your environment, even your cultural practices can profoundly influence this musical performance of your genes.
That's a fantastic way to put it. So even with a genetic predisposition, there's still significant agency. That must feel incredibly empowering, especially for Latino communities.
Precisely. And what's really fascinating is how their cultural assets can directly impact this gene expression. For Latino communities, this is huge news. The very strengths central to Hispanic life, strong family bonds, familismo, deep community connections, personalismo, and traditional practices like music and dance, they don't just make life richer, they can actively reshape how genes express themselves, potentially silencing harmful variations, amplifying protective ones. So what's really groundbreaking here is seeing how culture itself can be a scientific asset.
A scientific asset, not just a social one.
Exactly, a protective factor with a measurable biological impact.
That's a powerful way to reframe cultural identity. Now, for listeners who might be a bit skeptical, could you maybe elaborate just briefly, how exactly could something like familismo or music actually reshape gene expression?
Sure, so when we talk about familismo or community engagement, we're talking about strong social support networks, right?
Yeah.
These reduce chronic stress. And chronic stress is a known epigenetic modulator. It changes how genes are expressed. Chronic stress can ramp up inflammation, speed up cellular aging, both linked to dementia. Strong social ties act as a buffer against that. And similarly, engaging in music, dance, other culturally resonant activities, it stimulates neural pathways, promotes neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt. It releases neurotransmitters that influence gene expression related to brain health and resilience. So it's this whole interplay, mental, emotional, social well-being translating into a biological edge.
Okay, that makes sense. It's holistic.
Right. And this brings us to another fascinating point.
Hmm.
Ancient wisdom meeting modern science. The power of sound. Indigenous Mesoamerican cultures, for example, they had this deep understanding of music's impact on consciousness, on healing, way before modern neuroscience.
Incredible. Seeing ancestral knowledge kind of validated by cutting-edge science. So what exactly is the neuroscience telling us now about sound and brain health?
It's quite remarkable. Recent MIT research, for instance, has pinpointed 40 hertz as a really critical frequency for brain health. When the brain synchronizes or entrains to this specific gamma wave pattern through sound stimulation, amazing things happen. Studies have actually shown that exposing the brain to 40 hertz stimulation can reduce amyloid plaques, those notorious markers of Alzheimer's,
Right.
by 40 to 50% in as little as 1 week.
40 to 50% in a week? That's huge. Tangible progress.
It is, and it's not just plaque clearance. We also see improvements in memory consolidation, strengthening of neural connections. So this isn't just, nice background music. It's targeted neurostimulation. It's influencing brain activity at a really fundamental level.
Okay, wow. So this revolutionary science now meets cultural insight in Resonancia. This is the 40 hertz restorative audio experience from Vibes AI you mentioned, created by the acclaimed Latina jazz artist Rachel Bickley, launching now for Hispanic Heritage Month. Tell us about it.
Yes, Resonancia is really meticulously crafted. It truly embodies this fusion we're talking about. Rachel Bickley drew from her Mexican-American heritage and her deep jazz expertise. She's woven together this rich tapestry. You'll hear passionate flamenco rhythms, vibrant musical traditions from Hispaniola. The composition itself is centered in A minor, but it strategically shifts to C sharp sometimes, creating these harmonic tensions that really engage the brain, all while the underlying 40 hertz binaural beats are doing their restorative work.
Okay, binaural beats. Remind us quickly what those are and why they're important here.
Right. So binaural beats happen when you play slightly different frequencies into each ear, say 200 hertz in one, 240 hertz in the other. Your brain actively perceives the difference, in this case 40 hertz. It synthesizes that target frequency. This active process by the brain seems to engage cognitive processes more deeply and strengthen the therapeutic effect of the 40 hertz itself.
So it's not just functional sound, it's a real musical composition. How does that artistic layer, beyond just the 40 hertz frequency, help the brain engage? Does it make it more effective?
Oh, it's vital. The musicality provides a pathway for the brain to engage more deeply, more willingly, you could say. The instrumentation also tells this story of cultural fusion. You have tuning forks for precise frequency anchoring of the 40 hertz. But then you have traditional percussion shakers, congas, clave, creating these polyrhythmic patterns. patterns that often resonate deeply instinctively for individuals from Latino cultures with rich rhythmic traditions.
Ah, so the cultural resonance itself is key.
Absolutely. These familiar sounds can help bypass cognitive resistance, allowing for deeper entrainment to the therapeutic frequencies. They activate memory networks, emotional centers. So if we connect this to the bigger picture, cultural authenticity isn't just psychologically comforting, it's actually neurologically advantageous. It primes the brain for optimal neuroplasticity, its ability to change and adapt. And just another reminder, because it's important, those binaural beats require stereo listening headphones or earbuds for the maximum effect. Your brain needs the separate inputs to create the 40 hertz difference.
That's a really important detail for listeners. Stereo headphones are key. Okay, now considering this blend of science and culture, how can people actually integrate Resonancia into their daily lives? For optimal brain health, what are some practical ways?
Yeah, there are several really easy and impactful ways. Let's talk protocols. For morning activation, you could play it for about, say, 7 to 10 minutes while you're making breakfast or having your morning coffee or cafe. The 40 hertz helps clear out metabolic waste that builds up overnight, and the rhythms gently wake up your cognitive systems. Doesn't need perfect silence, just let it play.
Okay, simple enough.
Then, for midday reset, that 2 p.m. slump, that mental fog, instead of maybe grabbing another coffee, take a quick 5-minute Resonancia break. Just sit comfortably, maybe close your eyes, let the binaural beats recalibrate your brain waves. The clave patterns in there can help maintain alertness while the 40 hertz clears fatigue.
Nice alternative to caffeine. An evening.
Yeah, for an evening wind down, play Resonancia for maybe 10 to 15 minutes during dinner prep or while you're chatting with family about the day. The A minor key promotes relaxation, but without making you drowsy, while the 40 hertz keeps doing its neuroprotective work. This one's especially powerful for caregivers, I think. It offers that dedicated moment to reset their own cognitive resources after a demanding day.
Those are fantastic, actionable tips. Really easy to fit into a busy schedule. Now, beyond just individual use, how can Resonancia work within families? What are some real-world ways it could foster cognitive health across generations?
Oh, it's wonderfully versatile for families. Think about intergenerational bonding. You could play Resonancia during family activities, cooking together, doing puzzles, even just sharing stories. Maybe the kids dance to the percussion while the adults get the cognitive benefits. Everyone engages differently but benefits together.
I love that image.
Yeah. And for caregiver support. If you're caring for someone with cognitive decline, playing Resonancia softly in the background during daily care, it can be really helpful. The familiar Latin percussion might spark recognition, maybe calm agitation in the person being cared for. And at the same time, it provides cognitive protection for the caregiver.
That dual benefit is huge.
Definitely. Then there's study and focus enhancement. Students could use Resonancia during homework. The 40 hertz frequency helps memory consolidation, and the rhythms can help maintain focus without being distracting. And finally, movement and exercise. Those percussion-heavy sections, perfect for morning stretches or in an evening walk. You amplify the cognitive benefits of the 40 hertz with physical activity.
That really is a comprehensive toolkit for families. So, stepping back again, what's the bigger vision here for Resonancia? How could it really impact the wider Latino community, contribute to cognitive resilience on a larger scale?
Well, Resonancia represents more than just, personal brain health. It's really a tool for community cognitive resilience. Imagine organizing listening circles, maybe neighbors getting together to experience the audio, combining that social protection factor we talked about with the frequency therapy. Senior centers could easily weave in daily Resonancia sessions. Families could create evening listening rituals that protect multiple generations at once. And because it's accessible through the Vibes AI platform on any device, it's portable. This cognitive protection can travel with you commuting, working, caring for others. It really raises this important question. How do we move from generic wellness stuff to truly culturally specific cognitive protection? Solutions that resonate deeply and actually work better within a community.
What an incredible journey we've been on today. From really understanding the scale of this urgent crisis in Latino communities, to discovering the profound hope offered by epigenetics, by the 40 hertz sound revolution, all embodied in Resonancia. It's truly a testament to how science and cultural wisdom can meet.
Indeed. It just reinforces this vital idea. Effective brain health solutions have to honor cultural identity, not try to erase it. Resonancia offers immediate, accessible cognitive protection. It's rooted in both cutting-edge science and ancestral wisdom.
Yeah.
That's a powerful combination for community well-being and can start making a difference right now.
Absolutely. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you, our listener, with the thought to maybe mull over. Considering this profound power of cultural resonance in health,
Hmm.
what other elements of your own heritage might hold untapped potential for optimizing your life, your health, your community's resilience? We really encourage you to keep exploring these culturally informed approaches to brain health and community well being.